I am not opposed, I am not against you guys making concessions. What I think is a bad idea is us just making concessions when the prospect requests the concession. Here's why. Does anyone want to tell me what you think I'm going to say the why is if I just give a discount for the sake of giving a discount, or just add users for the sake of adding users? Does anyone want to unmute themselves and say what you think my answer is going to be before I give you my answer?
You're setting the expectation.
I like that. Is that Corey?
Yes.
Yeah, so, and let me rephrase the setting the expectation. Let me give you a more powerful way to think about that. We are training them not to buy from us, okay? And this is something that it took me, it was like night and day. The year was 2004. In 2004, I figured this out, right? I was selling massive payroll deals for a little company called ADP. And I noticed that we would have these promotions, especially Q4 of the end of the year. And I also noticed that it was actually very rare that I would have a super amazing Q4. But then all of a sudden, I run into all of this static and resistance and negativity and just not good feeling when Q1 came around, because everybody that I had called, because that's what my boss told me to do, and said, hey, if we can get this across the goal line by the end of the year, I'm willing to do this, this, and this, and this for you, right? What did they expect? They expected that I'm still going to do this, this, and this, and this, right? Our prospects were born at night, but they weren't born last night. And when you make an offer, when you put something on the table, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is very difficult to retract that. It's very difficult to retract said offer and still save face, right? Most of the time, even if your leadership is like, hey, Corey, I've got a great idea. Tell them if they close before the end of the month, we'll give them 7% off, right? Most of the time your prospect knows, and you know, and senior management knows, if they pull the trigger on it, even if it's next month or the month after, they're still gonna get that 7%, right? So we wanna make sure that we're very careful with just throwing offers out. Here's the other thing that I mean when I say we are training them not to buy from us, okay? They are not mind readers. We are not mind readers. We can't read each other's minds. If people could read each other's minds, we'd never have divorces, nobody would ever get fired, right? Life would be, what do they call that? Utopia, right? Because we would all know what everybody else had in mind, right? And everybody that was trying to screw us over, we would know that ahead of time and be like, man, I'm not gonna have those guys paint my house. They're planning on doing a terrible job, right? They don't even have paint. Right? Versus, man, this guy is really giving me a good deal on this house, and he is willing to take a loss on this, hoping that I'll give him a testimonial and take pictures of my house and let people know how wonderful it is. This is a really wonderful person. Unfortunately, we live in the real world and not utopia, and we can't read people's minds. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because you have to remember that your customer is not a mind reader. And even though you are a good, decent person, even though you have their best interests in mind, even though you are trying to offer them this really super amazing, very generous promotion, how are they supposed to know that that's where the line is, right? And even if you tell them, this is where the line is, this is the best deal you're going to get, that's what they expect you to say. That's what the people in the movies in the Hawaiian shirts selling the Corvettes with the smoke coming out of the back say. This is the best deal you're ever gonna get, right? I'll pass. And then they call back next week, I got a better deal. We're literally training them to wait, right? We're training them to go, if I just hold out a little bit longer, Corey is gonna call me back, and he's gonna throw in the 360-degree mapping that he said normally is $275. I'm sure I'll be able to get that for free. Here's the other thing. What if Corey does call back and throw in the mapping? And I do say, man, you know what? I need it. I'm not going to wait anymore. I'm going to pull the trigger on this. How are they supposed to know that they ever got the best deal? So I want to make sure, and as I'm sure David's team did with this, because they had some pushback, they had some resistance. I don't know how much discounting or how much stuff David's David's team threw in, but I'm hoping David's team asked for something in return. That's how you eliminate the fact, that's how you overcome the fact that you're not a mind reader, right? Our words mean something. Our actions mean everything. So if I say to David, right, hey David, I'm unable to lower the price, but what I can do, if you're able to get the team on the program by the end of this month, what I will do is I will do monthly private coaching calls with your team in perpetuity for the length of your agreement. Those, if you go to the website, you'll look, those are typically $1,400 a month, right? There, I'm able to give David something, and I know that I'm gonna still probably have to give that later, but what I'm asking is something for in return. And now here's the thing. I don't even like what I just used as an example. Why? Because that's the example we always use. What we always do is, if you buy it now, I'll give you this. Okay? I would prefer, if you want to go from like in jiu-jitsu, we have white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, and black belt. Like, a white belt move is, if you buy it right now, I will give you the live events for your team for free. That's a white belt move. It's decent. A blue belt move is I'm going to realize, wait a minute, timing, I can't influence timing all that much. Either David's going to pull the trigger or David's not going to pull the trigger. Even if David's process allows David to pull the trigger right now or it doesn't, I'm going to focus on something else. I'm going to make my ask something else besides rushing the deal, because there's only so much that a client can rush a deal. So I'm maybe going to say something like this. Hey, David, if you're willing, gentleman's agreement, if you're willing to possibly give us a video testimonial, once we get everything in and installed and everybody's using the software, whatever it is that you sell, right? If you're willing to give a testimonial, I'd really love that. We'd really love to feature American Airlines on our website. If you're willing to just give me a gentleman's agreement on that's a possibility for us, I'd be willing to add 3 seats to the user license for you, right? And now what I'm doing is, when David comes back and says, hey, I need 8% off, totally understand, makes perfect sense. He just out of curiosity, you've had the pricing now for 3 months, what's changed? Well, nothing's changed, we're just ready to go. Just hoping to get a discount. I totally get it, I understand. We price everything very fair. We make it super easy for people to get going. Here's what I can do. I want to do something special for you. If you're willing to, and again, gentleman's agreement, we don't need to write this into the contract or anything, but if you're willing to, once things go well, once we get it installed, once you're loving it, if I can come back to you and you'll remember that we had this conversation, that what I would love to do is have you point your phone at your face and say what you love so much about the software. I'd love to be able to put that up on our LinkedIn. What I could do there is I'll add another 3 users for you at no charge. Make sense? Yeah, okay, let's do that. A lot of times when they're asking for some sort of discount, they just want to know that they're getting the best deal. And the best way for them to know that they're getting the best deal is for you to say, hey, the buck has stopped, right? We're now at a level playing field, meaning that for everything I give Corey's going to have to give me something, right? Even if it's something as trivial as a testimonial. Does that make sense? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Good. Okay. And that's blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt stuff. We just got to practice that. The world of sales has completely changed. Today's customer has access to more information. Today's customer has more choices. The business world needs you. Studies have shown that 84% of salespeople fail to achieve their goals. The old sales training, well, it just doesn't work today. I'd like to teach you how to take the stress out of selling in a way that's meaningful to you and your customers and get you 7 times more business. I'll show you how the perfect sales process works. I'm gonna walk you through everything from prospecting to closing the deal. I'm gonna show you how to determine your prospects' wants and their needs so you can build value in your solutions. You will learn how to handle any objection or complaint. I'm gonna show you how to connect with your customer so it's easy for them to buy from you. I've taught the best companies in the world and thousands of people just like you how to hit their targets. Selling is complicated. I'll simplify it for you. There's more competition than ever before. I'm gonna show you how to be number one. All of a sudden, your career is gonna make perfect sense, even if you've never worked in sales or the corporate world before. And for the advanced sales professionals, I'm gonna show you how to take things to the next level. Easton University is a new, simple, step-by-step process that's effective in any industry, large or small. You are about to become a certified master sales consultant. I'm Matt Easton, and this is Easton University.